Now he's up against Sneaky, who's been around for years.
And iBoy has looked great at the World Championship. As much as you think about nerves on a rookie and how that can affect people, and even Contracts talked about being incredibly nervous in his first game against SKT and said he made some poor decisions. iBoy has been playing out of this world in this series, and really, EDG has had the second best early game of anyone at the World Championship. They've just been that bad at closing out the game. So whether or not that is nerves from a team perspective or not, we got to see if they can do it again, and we got to see if they can actually close.
Well, here we are into Champion Select. Cloud9 banning LeBlanc, Sejuani, and Kog'Maw, taking them off the field. Kalista and Galio, the responses there for EDG, with one more to come. So we're starting to see the bans being mixed up more, and that is a force if I've ever seen one. If you want Lulu, you must take it now.
Yeah, but there's not just the Lulu that is going to be up and available. It's not going to be tank scene. It's not just the supports that stand to attention. Rakan's there with the Lulu, so yeah, there are two good options. Mako loves himself some Rakan, but he also has good counters to it. However, that's an important lock-in.
Well, there's Desire for C9, and now EDG are like, oh, we kind of want to take Lulu, but we need to break it up. They take Rakan Jarvan instead. The same combo that undid them yesterday.
Yeah, but yes, exactly. And it has so much engaged potential, as we see, in being able to take a lead and just actually convert it to a victory. C9's still going to have a very potent duo on their side, but it's so surprising to me locking in the Xayah with Rakan still on the table. Not many teams have that priority.
I agree. And again, Mako's a very good Rakan. The LPL getting Jarvan and Rakan is something that is always going to be terrifying. They love engaging. You've seen WE, you've now seen RNG, and now it's EDG's turn to try and play the exact same style of composition. And guess what? They're all pretty good at it. So Cloud9, they're not drafting to take things away from EDG, it feels like. They're picking the Xayah for themselves.
Certainly sticking to the script as far as what we've seen so far at Worlds. Lulu being taken away, and Jensen says, all right, I've had enough of this. Give me Syndra. He finally wants a bit more pressure and a bit more early game priority.
Yeah, the first rotation mid lane. Syndra's so often banned in Phase 2, and also they want to make sure that Scout doesn't get this pick. I think this is a power play by Jensen, knowing both these teams have had such successful early laning phases with the mid lane, and Scout kind of understands what's happening here. He's picked Lucian 2 in 2 games. He's contemplating it. This is a hard matchup into Syndra, but he goes for it anyway.
It's a hard matchup, but it is an achievable matchup for the Lucian to be able to outplay it in some way. He's a Hex Drinker builder as well, if he's ever wanting to be defensive, and I feel like that's the reason that Scout's gone towards this, but he's chosen it over something like Corki, and they've picked it early before they go into the next draft phase, and they didn't lock an AD carry.
Well, I'm excited because it's a very exciting matchup in the mid lane, but we'll get there in the game as Ezreal banned by EDG, taking that away from Contracts, who has, I believe, been playing quite a lot of it since his advent into the jungle. Rumble, the response there from C9, trying to really pick apart the other ends of the comp from EDG.
Exactly, and yes, this is going to be a sensor game, but it's not going to be the one we've seen a lot of where they're just doing this late game arms race of who can scale up the fastest. We have a lot of engage and a lot of action coming out of this mid lane. Not to mention with the Rakan and Jarvan, you know there's going to be engages that need to happen in the mid-game.
And I really like the Rumble ban taking away magic damage from the composition of EDG. Now their AD carry with Kog'Maw gone, they are starting to run out of magic damage dealing options, and there might actually just be a world where the Lucian ends up in the AD carry role to have magic damage if that's where the draft gets pushed towards.
Well, Elise also going to take even more magic damage out, but that... Oh, okay, they think it's top lane Jarvan, that's why. All right, makes sense there. I mean, for me, in my head, Clearlove's played so much Jarvan in his very long career, but you're right, often seen top lane as well. iBoy, though, is going to grab Tristana. Didn't see any AD bans, apart from Ezreal, I guess, technically in Phase 2 here. So we'll have an option for a strong AD, but no need to pick it now. Looks like Cho'Gath will be the fix.
The Elise ban could be a little bit questionable, only because, as you say, it's most likely going to be that Jarvan in the jungle. But C9 was so tunneled on trying to prevent magic damage. They think, in what world does EDG actually fit magic damage into this composition? Because I think they'd be absolutely fine with that Lucian moving bot to iBoy. It would give C9 a better early laning phase. It would mean Scout doesn't have one of his best champions. So I think that's why they were so tunneled on it, but it does leave Cho'Gath up.
Yeah, Cho'Gath's going to be a pretty big damage deal. It may not be all the damage that they need for EDG, but it's something that will mean a significant amount when you hit the team fighting stage. And for the rest of EDG's composition, for the AD carry role, pretty much anything they need, whether it's Varus for a bit of mix and utility, it's always something to think about.
Well, Shen there for impact, going to take that tank versus the other tank. And looks like contracts will default to Gragas. Had some of the more high-tempo junglers taken off with 2 respectful bans there in the other side, but no! Gonna swap it up. That's a Graves from contracts.
Thought he was gonna go with the classic Gragas, but it's another high farm, high damage jungler for contracts, which is what they've given him a lot of so far here at the World Championship and even in the regional playoffs for C9. So bold pick down the road there for C9.
And a lot of considerations here for EDG. I think they're trying to say, how fast do we expect this game to be?
Yeah.
Can we afford to go late for Justana? They can't, they say. We're going to go lane dominance a bit more, at least for the Varus.
Yeah, and this could be the on-hit Varus build as well, so just trying to mix up that damage output. You've got the Cho'Gath in the top lane, so rounded out composition from EDG. Still perfectly fine. Big engaged duo, something that they need to try and get through any mid-game hurdles, even if they get through the early game ahead. It looks a lot better for EDG in this draft, but Cloud9, I mean, they've thrown a curveball here of the Graves to hard farm through the jungle clear.
Yeah, and also even the fact that they're going Shen instead of the Trundle that we've seen today, or even the Nautilus, or the Maokai, which we think that Impact would go for, but it is a classic Worlds pick for Impact once again. Maybe it's that just enabler for contracts to go even more aggressive, having the Shen in his back pocket when he's trying to make these invades. And yeah, as you guys mentioned, this is less likely to be that super late game matchup, and these guys have to pick for some of the mid and early game choices.
And we're probably expecting some more of this as the tournament goes on, just teams figuring out ways to speed up the game. Because if everyone's going late, at some point you meet in the middle, I feel like. So we'll be curious to see as the tournament develops how the game goes, but this one should be quite explosive for our last one of the day.
Yeah. Also can't wait for the mid lane. Both these guys have been so dominant in that phase.
Yeah, definitely the place to watch. Scout is a bit of an enigma. Can he pop off is always going to be the question.
Alrighty, a week almost done as we gear up to finish day number 3 here. C9 versus EDG. 1-1 for C9 as they move into this game. EDG with a big old bagel in the win column, sitting at 0-2. A very important game for these two teams.
And Group A, the first group to conclude week 1. So these guys will be done until next week when their group will be decided on one day, where each team play 3 games against each other. So important to go into that extra week of practice with some momentum. If C9 could win this, they are the favorites to make it out of the group. If ED lose, it is an absolute disaster after so many good early games.
Yeah, definitely true. So they need this win now, try and reset the defeat and victory ratio for themselves, or week number 2 becomes rather dire. And it all starts through that early game pressure, and some changes have already come into effect here. Firstly, it's not Rek'Sai, it's Jarvan. It's still very good early ganker, but has a bit more of a wombo with the Rakan when they group up. And this, to me, speaking towards EDG, is a big win. They've got a utility bottom lane, and Mako's the shot caller for the team. Clearlove's the shot caller for the team. Put it all together with the draft. That's a good start.
So just to note, EDG 5-man invaded at level 1, didn't find anything. Mouse swept a ward that they killed with a Sweeper Trinket, and now he changed it back in. So EDG are really posturing for something very cheeky here, but a great ward is going to spot them, but they kill it.
They kill it again. That's 2 ward kills already. A little bit of experience bonus too could allow for Clearlove to get a little bit ahead, but C9 just going to pull it anyway, and nothing really doing.
It will reset, so it'll buy some time, but EDG haven't contested it like what Peanut did in the last game. He's just going to go back towards his own blue buff, and he's actually not going to get a leash for that either. EDG want tempo in the bottom lane, and so this is a very awkward start.
Jarvan also doesn't clear very well by himself. He gets very low on his first clear, so don't expect too many early ganks from Clearlove in this one. Also, the call by Scout, pretty bold choice as well. Yes, it helps him to stay, but Contracts is going to try and kill you with Jensen. So not having that extra health that you could get from a Doran shield is interesting.
Well, a bit of damage here from Impact. Mouse going to run himself away. Should be safe for now as he backs up, and you mentioned that before, but it is a good time to check in on the mid lane as Jensen and Scout. Interesting start to the group stage for both of them, and as expected of the caliber of these players, instrumental in helping their team in the early game.
That was really clean from Scout as well there to dodge out with the combo. One thing to mention, Jad, is that in the LPL, Lucian's a coveted pick against Syndra. They really do like it.
very versatile as well. But watching this game, top lane.
Contracts, early flash from Mouse might have needed it and probably did. Contracts gonna tank some turret hits, but Mouse stays alive.
Yeah, it would have changed that 100% 15-minute kill participation from both mid laners, because everything has been around the mid lane in the first 2 games of the groups for these guys. But Contracts trying to make his presence known, and that Shen is actually incredibly good into the Cho'Gath early, if you can get those trades, which Impact has.
Of course, Mouse, if he gets the last hit, minions will be able to sustain himself more. So Contracts, though, it's not just once that he's coming to the top lane. The flash was burnt, the teleport was burnt, so why not make it twice? Clearlove, not to be seen. He's at red buff at the moment. Remember, he had a pretty rough clear.
Exactly, and I don't think the Contracts 100% knows that or knows his path, but he feels fairly confident trying to get something done with the counter jungle of the Krugs. How patient will they be, and how much poke can Impact get on Mouse by the time this wave crashes?
Thanks to turret hit to get some good damage done. Graphically Undying also proccing. And now Contracts, the wave is coming. He's going to take these Krugs. And the timing could be perfect, but Clearlove smells something.
They might run into it. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, there was a Krug there.
Ships passing in the night, most certainly, as Contracts going to roam down. The junglers for now will avoid each other, and Impact takes his harassment advantage and goes back to base. Can walk if he needs to. We'll see what he chooses to do with that teleport early on.
Funny how the Krug doesn't even despawn and Clearlove is able to pick it up. Just the timing of being able to back up Mouse is Clearlove being in exactly the right place, because that was a point of danger. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's just time to going back to full clear based on Clearlove's first back. He will be fine in the jungle now once you pick both of the small jungle items up. Jarvan's clear gets a lot more healthy, so the ganks have to now be respected by C9.
You can see Scout certainly using Lucian's early laning aggression to bully Jensen here. A big wave that Jensen wants to try and clear, but Scout will make him pay if he can. 10 CS so far, and Scout is doing everything he can to hold this wave and bully Jensen.
This is a big wave that will crash, so the 10 will shrink significantly. Jensen, even with the experience disadvantage, should be able to get some of that back. But Scout does have control, and through this control means that he can place extra vision down, or he can work with Clearlove if they choose to make a play.
Yeah, and Patient Time, how many times have I heard you say bully Jensen in the North American LCS? It just doesn't happen. 0, big goose egg. So the fact that Scout is playing that aggressive, no wards as well, just shows an absurd amount of confidence, but he's dodging a lot of skill shots, he's keeping his health very high, and he brought Cleanse, so at the moment, he's playing it just right.
And Clearlove very sneaky. Engineers a nice gank here in the top side, but Mouse not really having it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if it was to a gank or to a counter gank. Contracts has been around here a few times. He's been hovering on the top side of the map. Now he isn't at the moment, but Clearlove might just find an opportunity of his own, staying up here for a very long time, however.
This may be one of the most forced lane ganks I've seen in a while, but Clearlove tends to not visit lanes if he doesn't think he can get something done. He's going to hit the recall button. Now Impact playing respectfully there, back in his lane.
Yeah, I think that was 100% a counter gank attempt based on where the wave was. Mouse really wanted to shove it into the turret to hit level 6, and if the gank would have come, they would have had minion advantage in that engage, and I think that's why Clearlove was there. But the fact that it missed means Contracts gets to keep farming.
A reminder there from Scout, actually unleashed of the Kali, but Jensen now has his ulti Contract here to make it happen in the setup! Oh no, Scout! Good flash, but that's not enough. Jensen gonna grab the first blood.
Yeah, awkward flash from Scout, almost not necessary in the end because he was still flashing towards Cloud9's base. Contracts was next to him, and C9, simply by having a Shen and Scout wanting to win his lane so hard, just get a kill.
Yeah, that's when Scout isn't thinking about the overall game, but is only thinking about the Syndra v Lucian matchup, because sure, he would have won in the 1v1, but that's not how you play against Cloud9.
Contracts is getting beaten on those. Jensen gonna run up to help. He's out of mana as Clearlove still to run back away. Contracts looking to make the aggressive play, turn it back around. The shot! Oh my god, that's good. And Contracts, he had to reload. Now Mouse is gonna try and get him. If a feast lands, he's dead. Contracts jukes around that very nicely, and he'll get himself out.
Clearlove leveled up and smote when he was trying to live through that gank. Very nearly what could have turned into a big mid lane snowball right there if they get a kill on the jungler and the mid. But for now, that lane is still somewhat stable.
And well executed by Contracts, all things considered, to get himself out alive, dodging all of the ruptures. Clearlove needs to be careful. He's probably going to die to a blue buff.
Got W.
There we go. Everything will just simmer down again.
Well, Scout gets the blue buff that Clearlove is probably going to remind him just how important that was. Mouse again trying to fight Impact, Rupture lands, fast procs, and top laner's trade, but Impact has found a lot of traction early in this lane. It's about 25 CS ahead right now.
Yeah, Mouse doing what most Cho'Gaths do, trying to use his Feast on cooldown after he hits level 6 to max stack as quickly as possible, but every time he does that, Impact feels free to flash, to taunt forward and go for more. But we're going to watch this one more time. Remember, no magic resist for Scout here. They haven't necessarily recalled, and they're both level 6. So he's playing the range very well at the start here, but then Jens is like, wait a minute, I have Contracts and Shen here. It was a ruse all along. Your cleanse is useless against my raw unleashed power from Syndra. So Scout disrespects it and gets killed.
Yeah, I mean, if you remove the tab button from his keyboard, he was doing all kinds of things correctly, but there was a Shen. There's always been a Shen since draft phase, and he just didn't actually notice that, as it seems.
Yeah, and we saw the jungle proximity at the start of the game. Scout was much higher than Jensen. Jensen's actually averaged a lower jungle proximity in the first 2 games than he did in the North American LCS, but how quickly C9 get in and get out in the mid lane is what catches people off guard a lot of the time. Scout had not been visited by Contracts for the first 6 minutes of the game, probably felt pretty safe for that all in. He was not.
Certainly wasn't, as EDG's dual lane return to the bot side. You can see iBoy very successful on Varus in the LPL. Looks like Ginsu's Rage Blade is the first order of business. Sneaky though, as his BF sword early already and the Targon. So again, kind of our standard bot lane race to the Ardent Censor has once again begun.
And that is the one thing we have to talk about. Haven't really looked at bottom lane all that much. Zarya versus Varus is a medium range AD carry off. It's not a Cosmo or a Twitch this time around. And there is a very serious carry potential still from iBoy simply existing. Top lane's just fighting each other, really ruining. iBoy's a really good Varus is the point that I'm making. He's actually incredible at it. And it's one of the few champions, like, he plays Ashe and he relentlessly feeds. But for some reason, Varus, which has similarities, he's really good at.
And this has a huge mid-game power spike if they get to the Ginsu's Rage Blade before Sneaky can get to the Essence Reaver and Zeal upgrade. And currently their laning phase has been quite strong. We obviously have visited down there because all of the ganks have been happening on the top or mid side of the map, but we have to watch out for those power spikes.
Well, a bit more attention here. Mako is now level 6, so either lane pressure or even roam pressure can be very heavily applied with this Rakan. We also saw Impact earlier, still holding a nice 20 CS lead. Has been bullying Mouse with the Tiamat where he can, but getting his armor and getting his items. So right now, bot lane is going to start it up. Mako missing that knockup, but Clearlove very sneaky is there. But Contract now in the mid lane. This could prompt lots of action as Shen. He's going to roam in as well. A great cleanse up, but it's not enough as Impact taunts down and kills Scout.
It's a party, and Impact has so much pressure in that lane.
Boy, what a huge chain of corruption! Smoothie get a flash and try and get up, but Clearlove dunks him for the kill.
And the immediate response from EDG on the bottom side of the map. However, Cloud9 did it earlier, they did it more successfully, and they were already at the turret when it happened. So it's still a big win for C9 here. EDG have responded, so we'll see how much more they get.
Yeah, mid lane turret going down first. Very big in the grand scheme of this matchup, but change of plans for Clearlove. He's like, Scout, there's nothing I can do, man. That's a volatile matchup. The Syndra's gonna kill you whenever they press R on you because the Syndra's ahead. Gank bottom lane. Max range R from the Varus to set up the entire CC chain. And they get the turret for themselves down bottom. But we're going to watch that mid lane gank one more time.
Yeah, so Contracts just finds Scout walking over to the side of the map where Clearlove was ultimately up. Feels like he didn't know that there was a graze there. He wasn't even warding. He was actually just walking towards the bottom side. But iBoy, target selection here is very clever. Sneaky has the ultimate. If he sees it going towards him, there's a chance he just presses R and walks away with all of his summoners. So they pick the Lulu.
Yeah, really nice choice right there. I think we're going to see more and more teams go for the supports in these games because they are the ultimate enablers, and they're so squishy. These sensor builds with no sightstone do die very quickly.
And what better champions to do exactly that, right? The Varus and the Rakan, very good at killing Lulus.
Well, nicely played there as teams even up in turret. C9 did get first turret gold. They have an advantage, still sitting at just over 1,000 gold here in this game. Looks like iBoy and Mako actually mid lane right now, but Sneaky gonna join in. And we'll see how much pressure EDG can get here, moving their dual lane to the mid lane, at least for a little while. But Scout is also bot lane, so this could be a full-on swap for EDG, or just kind of where the farm lay. The C9 responding with an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, and EDG trying to rebalance the map right now. The turrets have gone down in strange places. And when C9 goes to this Drake, EDG's actually going to be making a play up topside. They got the initiation. Impact is already very low.
Mouse does not have Feast just yet. They're going to try and chase it down. Mako going to look for it. Hops the quickness, wants it, but doesn't grab it with the W.
No, so the Drake will be secured. iBoy's walking up, but the minions are also crashing. It looks like they will trade the turret. They'll get gold for an Ocean Drake.
Yeah.
Early Ocean Drake's good, but turret gold's nice.
And tempo-wise, they're so far ahead technically in this play. Yeah, they're going to lose the blue buff in the Ocean Drake, but I don't know if C9 can actually get the wave to that turret in time. And EDG would probably be able to herald if they decide to give up the turret anyway. So a positive play probably for EDG here.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Past that, even getting the Herald means the mid lane outer turret's a realistic opportunity to trade what Cloud9 did earlier with their first gank towards that lane, so it could work out super well.
It's about the continuation of the play, though. Do they go for another kill onto Impact, or do they actually take the Herald? Because if we're thinking about this, it's Ocean Drake for Herald, but then they're just trading turrets and they didn't get a kill. So then it's just a straight up value between the two. Cloud9 ends up catching up in tempo, I think, pretty easily, and the Herald's going to be a very slow take by himself.
He is. We'll see just how long it takes him here. Started at about 1946 for everyone playing at home. Oh, Impact spotted him already.
Yeah, Impact blast cones over blind there. Playing very well with limited knowledge in this game.
That could have been 3 people. That absolutely could have been 3 people that just turned on him.
He kept his taunt. He blast coned over. He would have been fine.
Well, it does actually anger the Herald for a little while longer. It does reset. EDG, if they want it, can take it, but now C9 know what's up, so EDG back off and ultimately don't get an additional objective after all those plays.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit concerned for EDG here because, yes, they do have the Rage Blade, but they need to have a fight where they can convert it, and Scout is also very far behind. They bank so much on Lucian also hitting the power spike, which he has in the first 2 games, but he played quite poorly in this early game. Like, yes, C9 did a great job to bait Shen ult and get the ganks in, but he was pushed up without control wards on his side, because normally the strategy is you control ward one side, cheat to that side, and play aggressive. They never had river control with their control wards, but still played that way and were punished accordingly.
Yeah, Clearlove was playing towards the bottom side of the Rift, and Scout does get punished. 0-2, I mean, he's got his Blade of the Ruin King item spike right now, so for what it's worth, EDG can convert all of these spikes into something meaningful. You're looking at the Rift Herald still as the primary objective, it feels like, because this mid lane and river area is all of the focus.
Oh, fight gonna start. Mako wants Jenta, but the Channel is gonna protect him. Shield is good. Clearlove now maybe in trouble. Cataclysm's over. Nowhere else to go, and Impact grabs a kill. Now Mouse, who did TP in, is looking for something, but that's just one for C9.
Starting to look rougher and rougher for EDG right there. Clearlove didn't have his flash up, thought there was no way out, and they're not respecting Impact Shen.
Yeah.
This is the most effective Shen we have seen so far at Worlds groups, because so many other Shens just split push all day and then only ult defensively. They've used it twice offensively and now also defensively. Impact getting incredible use out of the Stand United.
That was a level 11 Shen, so his ultimate's going to be significantly larger. You saw how much it was able to absorb, and suddenly EDG with item spikes, almost irrelevant, because their opponents are able to react to the play, and they best them at it.
Well, Contract's going to take his Rift Herald, does go down, and good tower to use it on in the top side. If he wants to go there, he will wander up there now as Scout was 1v2, just trying to get a bit more farm. Contracts maybe doesn't even feel like he has to use it now, checking that brush as he puts down a control ward. C9 going to be in the turret lead only briefly, very shortly, as C9 Sneaky and Smoothie are going to grab this one.
Yeah, they're in the midst of a C9 snowball. When C9 wins, they tend to win kind of in the same way. If they can get a decent early game lead from play-ins to the victories at groups here, they've had a really good progression with the way they achieve victory. Currently, they're on pace for that, and it's about EDG to try and disrupt that. They're going mid right now. They still have the sensor, they still have the Rage Blade, and they're stacking it up. Expect C9 to defend.
Another good response here from EDG, but the taunt lands into the Scout. He cleanses it up pretty quickly, but the damage may already be done. I think he actually tanked turret aggro as well. Feels bad.
He is way too aggressive this game and is not recalibrated.
No, not at all. He's going to tank it. It wasn't a Syndra ultimate. I think could have killed him if there was a position to do so. We get to watch this mid lane fight once again. Notice how large the Shen shield is when it comes in. That negates so much damage because iBoy, he cannot attack. He's meant to be the one attacking to do all of the damage for the team.
But also, C9 was absolutely there for a counter gank. They just had more people.
For sure.
And they did a long range engage with Rakan Jarvan, and they had no reasonable way of following up.
And I like the idea, right? Force against the team that's starting to get some control of Summoner's Rift over you. But when you're forcing that hard, it's never going to be successful unless you are just significantly better players. And I wouldn't say that is the case.
Certainly that gold is starting to accrue very rapidly. C9 actually up 4,000 gold here at the 18-minute mark. We've got a Drake spawning in 40 seconds. Cloud Drake will be up next, and Baron, of course, makes his first appearance in this game in just about 2 minutes. So EDG, it is good to see them making plays, but again, have to make sure that everything is rightfully in position. C9 have done a great job both on offense and defense, and again, looking to snowball that lead. Rift Herald still here for contracts. Might pop it here for this mid-tier 2. Stun lands, clear low. Ulted out there, a scout defensively calling contracts off his jungler.
Good defensive ultimate there by Scout, so to speak, but they've still pushed Clear Love back and burned his flash, so the chance of a contest here on the Cloud Drake are slim to nil.
Certainly should be a free Cloud Drake for Cloud9. Clear Love, I don't know if they wanted to contest it either way. It looks like they're moving over towards it.
It should actually just cost them the mid-turret. EDG could move and just slap that turret a few times. They're moving in.
Here, C9 get out. Double dashes there from the top and jungler, and even going to move back down the mid. They could start a fight here if they want to.
Yeah, Syndra ultimate down, so C9's going to be a little bit less ambitious in defending it, but it just matters how much they think they are ahead right here. And if they can stand to defend, they're kind of going for it.
That goes in again onto the Shen of all people. EDG still here with the wave clear is very good.
Exactly, and that's why they couldn't push in the first place. They walked over to the Drake. They cleared a wave, Cloud9 then moved to the Drake. EDG are like, well, we can respond with clearing a wave, but that doesn't actually allow us to push. Same thing happens here as well. Graves Q, Syndra has all of the spells to clear wave. And EDG's response is to move over to Impact and to try and burst him down because he's the one flanking and engaging.
Good ult, quickness, ulti there onto contracts by Shen. Sneaky moving forward. Cena want to turn his back around. Mako with a great dash back away. Mouse is here, contract now forced to flash out of the way. The Featherstop could get a route to take it. Still look for the dark eye. Does it to take out Sneaky and Impact. He's too far forward, forced to flash as Jensen lands a nice two-man summer. EDG, it was Scout, flashes in. Aggression so much from this man. As the Rift Herald now been summoned by contracts, that's a bit of an odd one in the middle of the fight.
He puts a top lane, says, please deal with that, don't keep chasing us, and now he's back in.
Oh, onto Mouse perhaps there. The ruse could have worked a stun in onto that. The ulti from Jensen is enough onto Mouse.
Yeah, not just could have, it definitely worked. Contracts is going off right now. The summoning of the Herald, yes, it's a bit quirky, but it's paying off.
Yeah, and now they're going to pressure mid while that Herald charges in the top side. They have Mouse down, teleport advantage. They're a little bit low on mana, but Sneaky back on the field. They might look to pressure mid lane here.
Well, EDG defending with a man down for 10 more seconds. Mouse also TP'd in, so going to take a while to wait there. Minions just busy.
Yeah.
Herald's having an existential crisis in the minion wave. He's forgotten his real purpose. He's off jobs.
Yeah, it doesn't clear minions that fast. Solo Rift Herald push, not really as hyped as we made it.
It was hype, now he's just sad.
Scout will collect his 25 gold and continue taking the rest of the minions in that wave. There was a weird 8-1 for some reason.
Glad you waited for that Rift Herald down to go to the replay. But here, you can see EDG making the engage, and the teleport is a good teleport by Mouse, and I think C9 is overconfident. Watch where Lulu is in this fight, so Sneaky doesn't have the shielding. The EQR by Clearlove there on Jarvan was perfectly timed with his Eye ultimate timing out, but then the disengage by C9 is pretty good. They end up getting on the backside. Scout!
All right, well, he pops the calling. Sneaky, though, going to keep moving in Jensen's series on contracts. Never mind, he's also there in Jensen. I think he's just going to want for the kill. Stun lands in, and contracts, he's the lucky man today.
That's not just the duo lane of C9 that are here, it's all of the cavalry. There's 4 of them to secure. The mid laner of EDG now around the Baron buff at 22 minutes. They've got a lot of damage to do it. If Impact's there to tank, though,
they can at least pressure it. They have a TP advantage and a numbers advantage on the Rift, so they either get the turret or a very powerful play around the Baron pit that is really difficult for EDG to check. And so much of this has just been on Scout overextending time and time again.
30 seconds till ulti up for Shen as well, so Impact can freely start pushing as that cooldown's almost back up. He's onto the tier 2 and dealing a big load of damage to it, and in fact, we'll take it after splitting the map. EDG slow to respond, and to be honest, there wasn't too much they could really respond with.
That will put them at a sizable gold advantage across the board. It hasn't really substantiated in any major item purchases except for mid and jungle, though, specifically. So those are the two places that we'll have to continue to watch. Who better to have it, of course, for Cloud9? I'm not going to say anything past that point.
Yeah. Also, the 4 pairs of Ninja Tabi against the largely physical and auto-attacking team of EDG has been very effective at muting a lot of their damage that EDG is trying to engage on them. The Shen Shield's just even more effective, as well as the Lulu Shields, when they're building those resistances on every squishy champion.
EDG again trying to look for a play. Mako and no flash, but has the ult ready. Contracts maybe is the pick. Cataclysm lands for the shield again, and Zaya just turns back around for the damage of Mako. A big knock-up there finds 2 with the Feather Stomp. Who's going to protect the carry? Scout gets one as Mouse eats Contracts for the first kill of the team fight.
They keep getting these picks, and EDG, I don't think they want anything past that. They'll just take the pick and back it up. That's still a win for them. The jungler is dead, so Baron's just a pipe dream for C9. They'll have to lick their wounds and go back to base. That's the second time it's happened now.
Yep, Contracts as well has been front and center in a lot of these, even if this is the first time he's actually died, being very aggressive, pushing the tempo, and the engage for C9 isn't the most reliable thing. It's Jensen getting a stun or Impact finding a flank. So actually the type of fights they almost hope to happen is EDG running into them and C9 being able to turn it around. But if they're not grouped enough, when EDG does run into them, it doesn't work. Like, what is this, a double marksman flank between Contracts and Sneaky? They nearly burst down Clear Love, but the rest of their team is so far away. Look at Cinder and Lulu on the mini-map. Contracts is already dead. EDG's been fighting 4v3 for a while, and EDG just walked away after the kill.
Yeah, a big problem for EDG is always going to be follow-up, but if Cloud9 are going to walk to them separated, it's very easy to initiate in the first place. And that is one thing they will have a truckload of between a Jarvan and a Rakan. Second pick in a row now.
We did mention already the importance of this game for both these teams, but we are going to have a look at EDG and kind of the roller coaster they've actually been on as they look to close out their first week of groups. These are their first 2 games, and these are some gold graphs, and that is a wild ride.
Exactly. They're going to get the near 10,000 goal lead in these 2 games. When are they going to blow it was been the question. But in this game, they actually have never had control. This is a completely new experience for EDG in this particular group stage. Yes, they could come back from deficits in the LPL, but Worlds is also a whole nother story. C9, actually not the best team at closing victories, but do win fast when they win.
And amusingly, that is a concern for both of these teams. How do they close out when they get those leads? C9 making some mistakes with the lead in this game. EDG is still very good at playing defensively when they don't have leads, and that might be the battle we see ensue here.
Yeah, in North America, it was a bit of a problem for C9, specifically even in the playoffs. They had at one point a 10,000 goal lead and 3 inhibitors down to Team Dignitas. We're not able to win that and got knocked out of the playoffs. But in the Worlds play-in, as well as the Worlds group stage, when they're ahead, they've been lights out with closing. So the boot camp, the practice has cleaned things up as of late for C9.
And the snowball's still here, 5,500 gold ahead and counting as C9 also pick up a second mascot Drake for themselves. Looks like we got one more coming as well, because it wouldn't be a C9 game without them. EDG, though, trying to again spot something here in the mid lane. Looks like Impact actually aggressively teleported to try and get the wave pushing, but he does have ulti.
That means the set play starts to begin for Cloud9. The fact that he's teleported down there, has the Titanic Hydra, has a lot of AD, then no one's going to be killing him in that side lane, but he pressures, he draws Mouse. Ultimately, if they want to, they could force a teleport from Mouse then and try and play the teleport advantage game. But the problem with what Impact has done is that he's used one of his 2 teleports. And so if he ever teleports to a play, he's not going to have one himself. Shen usually has an advantage with that.
Exactly. You're wondering where C9 would try and make that force, or they're just waiting for EDG to try and get vision. Syndra's still a very threatening pick champion if they can get any type of fog of war advantage. That's why double Farsight Totem on the side of EDG wants to make sure they're not face checking when necessary. And even just pulling the Cho'Gath away really helps the vision game, because Mouse is the guy who needs to be face checking. No one else is nearly as tanky, and if they get caught by a Cinder Stun, they're probably dead.
Which is very curious, because both tanks are going to be the top laners that are on the side lane. The one difference is that Shen's ultimate can make a tank out of someone, Lulu's shields and ultimate can make a tank out of someone, where Rakan's shields are much less significant in that respect, and is more there for the engage. So C9 have a slight edge, even in a no-tank battle.
Well, again, C9 certainly doing a lot of preparation here around the Baron. Their wards are starting to go down. Face check there. Ivor again gets the root, but a good little buffer there from Contract. Boosting just enough to get out from Clear Love. Mako forced back, though. And the ultimate did come in from Impact.
Teleport cancel Stand United, so neither team actually has the global right now. The question is, does C9 just start the Baron with this control ward, knowing the Clear Love's flash is down and he's a little bit worrisome, or do they just force in? Another one of those contracts, face check initiation, so to speak, but doesn't net anything.
Sometimes that'll do as contracts laying into Mouse. There's a lot of damage right now actually to the Cho'Gath.
He is laying into him. With all of the ultimates gone from the bottom lane of EDG as well, a fair amount of the engage is missing, and C9 still have that tempo, still have that advantage, and that is why Contracts is able to play so forward and so aggressive. They're making it work even though they're brute forcing it.
Yeah, still this 5,000 gold lead, still just trying to get down these turrets, and EDG could think about an initiation here, but it would be risky.
Oh, turret down. Nice play from C9 to grab themselves an objective. Damage on the Mouse as well. He's actually not that tanky in the face of effectively 3 carry champions. A great stuff from Jensen. Leap in Impact with a massive taunt, and Jensen grabs the insta double kill. Clearlove does not live as Jensen. He's going to grab the triple contract, taking a lot of heat, but he lives just barely by a shield from Smoothie. And Impact back to protect his team. Oh, amazing play.
Impact with the engage. We say they don't have much of it, but clearly they have enough with Impact on Shen this game. He is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, Taunt's unreliable, but not in this case when Impact's able to make that hit. C9 straight back over to the Baron, and there is no way EDG can get in here. They have no chance, and a big lead in time window for C9 to try and close out a game.
Scout may get the mid lane shirt off of this one. He earned it after all the pushing he did. No, he doesn't get it!
He's going to live to tell the tale as well. Looks like yes, but he doesn't even get the turret.
Heartbreaking. Watch Impact right here on the Shen to get this. They get the Syndra stun, triple stun by Jensen into the flash taunt, not the taunt flash. Impact knows exactly when to do this. Many people would taunt flash, but that can't get all 3 people, and since they're already stun chained, he just got point blank to get that off. That was started by Jensen, followed by Impact, finished by C9.
And immaculate by Jensen as well. The taunt was amazing from Impact, but you have to give that extra credit to Jensen.
Goodness.
The damage he dealt in the last fight. Remember who he starts it off by stunning as well,
he
was the support.
That was just a Jensen one-shot of all of EDG.
Well, certainly still scaling up. 5-0 and 3-10 stacks on the Dark Seal. And something very pointy coming EDG's way soon. That's a needlessly large rod. My hopeful money is on a death cap. I think my real money's on Azonius.
I'm still a little bit stunned about that damage graph from the last fight.
Yeah, it's massive.
You're telling me like Sneaky didn't throw some feathers in or Contracts didn't all? 7,600 damage. That fight was like 2 seconds long.
You also think of the range it happened at. There's a reason Sneaky couldn't get close enough. No,
yeah.
Rapid Fire Cannon was completed, so actually he's slacking.
Now, one other thing as well is that there's different types of Syndra players around the world. There are those who max E second and those who max W second. And
once you max E are wrong.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Do not max E second, but lots of people still do. The ones who max W have true damage. Yeah. And that's a big part of why he did so much damage when he stuns 3 people, throws a ball on top of them as well. It's going to destroy their health bars.
Well, C9 now playing with a big lead, actually now over 10,000 after that last passage of play. Still some turrets to take down as well. Inhibited turrets and their namesakes also up for the taking of C9 want them, so EDG really push back into defensive mode right now. And in fact, Inhibited turrets and Nexus turrets are all they'll have left. C9 with a minute 50 left on Baron take the top tier 2.
And EDG have to be so careful right now. They still don't have magic resist on iBoy or Mako. If anyone gets hit by those CCs again, those long-range Cinder Stuns, it's over again.
You can hear the crowd behind EDG, even though their backs are against the wall. It is the home crowd for Clearlove in particular and for EDG. But they've got very little opportunities to get into this. They require something special.
This might be it, at least to start it off. The turret goes down, but Impact's in a 1v2 that he cannot survive. Inhibitor still goes down though. That's a worth trade for Cloud9.
Yeah, they commit a lot to kill Impact. They get the gold for it, but the Siege Breaker happens for C9. An easy push through with that Inhibitor taken down during the Baron power play. And oftentimes you could criticize someone for an isolated death, but in that case it is absolutely worth it to break that Inhibitor because EDG isn't going to get much off the back of it, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those moments where EDG probably decided to lose an Inhibitor to save the game, which feels really bad to say, right? There is not going to be an Elder Drake up, so you can take that as a consolation if you're EDG.
Yep.
There's no concern with having the top inhibitor gone on the opposite side of the map to the Elder Dragon spawning, so just Baron. That's the primary concern. They choose to kill Impact so they can't get more than one inhib.
Yeah.
They sacrifice one. It feels like chopping off the leg to save the body type of thing. Like, it feels really bad for EDG. Risky decision to do that.
I think you're right. I think it is the right call, especially being able to pick up the Cloud Drake on the back end. Just got to do their best to funnel that farm into useful places. Whenever someone takes down an inhibitor, as much of an advantage as it is, it puts them on a small timer because it means that's now one wave you're not farming. That wave always crashes into the enemy base, and that's always a wave they get to farm.
Well, Gold Lead still manifested in a big way for C9. And today we're going to play Spot the Real Marksman Carry. Contracts has 4 damage items, including the jungle enchant on Warrior. That is a very scary Graves.
Oh my goodness, it's the Arden Sensor Graves. Smoothie shielding him, he's running forward, gets that attack speed and extra life on hit, and he is shredding people.
I guess that was the reason Mouse looked a little squishier than usual up against Contracts.
Better do it.
C9 still playing kind of the game out academically, but they are known again for increasing their speed as the game nears a close, and that's what they have to see right now. EDG just need to hold on.
They're feeling it right now as well, moving around, not clearing top wave, being invisible. They're looking for these opportunities. There aren't any because C9 aren't giving them to them, but that's what EDG want.
They got to fight here.
Make a good straight in, get a good double knock of Ivo as well. Follows the ulti in, the roots are good, but everybody lives through it. Well, Feathers too much. Shut that down. Feathers through. Sneaky still going to try and make the play. This Sire is big.
That was such a clean engage by EDG, but they actually killed no one in the initial wave. It wasn't until the Rupture landed on Jet since they finished him. And C9 is actually undeterred. They're going for more.
Still have 2 marksmen, so not a big
There's
problem.
the TP.
EDG, a huge flank TP from Mouse, and C9 respect that Mouse needs to find something here, but he just can't.
It's to push them away, but he's in trouble.
Yep, Feathers through again. So much damage to these
Oh,
two.
no.
Damage shields, Impact. Barely going to miss that top, but C9 undeterred. Scout back into the mix, and Sneaky does manage to kill Mouse. Sneaky, they're still living. Smoothie no ult, but he has the shield. Sneaky again just going off in this team by the Contract. A step too far, perhaps, the Spirit Refuge.
Scout really wants more, but they cannot close that fight. Amazingly, it's 1-for-1 because that was such a close fight.
And the inhibitor is still alive, so there are worse things that could have happened to EDG at the end of that. The teleport from Mouse was not to kill them, it was to get them away from the damn inhibitor because Scout had to go back to base. This is all just damage control from EDG, but the engage they had in the middle lane was one moment that C9 pushed forwards, and EDG took it.
Yeah, EDG got womboed by SKT with a huge lead yesterday. They tried to do it themselves. They're going all in with this one. Flash gets 2 of the carries. I count Contracts as a carry, but the redemption and the shields and no Orianna or Twitch to shed through like was yesterday makes it so it's played. But the Rupture lands and they do get chances.
And the biggest miss was that it didn't hit Smoothie. If it found the Lulu when he went forwards, they might have won the fight.
C9 though. Again, kind of replay this, and like you said, Scout, very defensive TP, but a necessary one.
Yeah, close to dying once again, but Iboy and Scout comes back. They do a lot of damage. Impact might have killed Mouse if that taunt connected too. Big mechanical mistake from the Shen.
Yeah, very rare to see him miss that stuff. C9, as you can see, camping Baron on respawn before EDG is going to make back the base. We've got to get back to that Baron. Clearlove might be going for a steal.
Oh, Clearlove, he's trying to get it, but a great taunt from Impact will stop that. Sneaky gets the last hit on the Baron, and C9 back on the power play.
Yeah, this power play should mean the bottom lane inhibitor. If they're able to push mid at the same time, then it should actually be all 3, and then it's EDG's turn. They have to make the engage again, but Rakan has no flash this time. Varus has no flash this time. There's so many summoners gone.
Yeah.
How are they going to do it?
It's probably a 3-inhib cycle, but they got to try, you would think.
And when we look to their captain, Clearlove, the soul certainly of this team, especially in his hometown of Wuhan, but Mako must make the play without his flash. His ulti is up right now, but EDG are running out of time.
Yeah, no flash on Clearlove either, just the initiation tool's not there, down 5 flashes. They're just having to stand and watch while C9 takes this, and C9 knows full well that EDG used all of their initiation in that last fight, so got to be careful not to group up. Smoothie is the key, as you mentioned, staying behind that engage to prevent the catastrophe of a full-on initiation. Now 3 inhibs down, Baron up. eventually EDG's going to have to go.
They will have to with 3 inhibitors gone, because the super minions now double up. They'll start to push in about 1 minute from now. It's going to overwhelm the EDG base. But in 1 minute from now, flashes are up and available. So when do they go in this window?
All right, we got Mako's flash. When that is up, they're guaranteed to go. But do they have enough time? Do they have to go earlier?
3 seconds, it's almost up. Mako, he must have his moment now.
3,
Impact
2,
though,
1,
finds
go.
that taunt. That's so much damage on the scout. Mako needs to find the angle, but the carries
They can't find it.
staying very far apart. Redemption is going to reset the situation. His mouth does eat a stun, but he will live. One Nexus turret though is down.
Cloud9 might just win by the minions helping them finish the game right now. EDG have to go or C9 beat them.
Kron's flash is up. It's going to happen in the next few seconds if it's ever going to happen.
2 minutes left. The burn. Mako goes in. Needs to make the play, but all the shields in sneaky. Getting low, but Jensen. That's the dreams crushed. Mako dead. Clear Love dead. Everybody from EDG is just falling down. And Impact, he may have died, but Cloud9 today, they will pick up their victory. 2-1 now in this group. And the fans here will be disappointed, but Cloud9 will take the win.
Yeah. C9 does not have to play to the crowd at Worlds. 2-1 in the group stage as their week 1 concludes. And this one ended like almost all of their victories have ended. They've taken that early lead, they've played it well, and they'll find a way to get the initiations when necessary to close it out. Impact, to me, was the standout player.
Impact and Jensen, the solo laners of Cloud9, had a standout performance. That 7,000 damage team fight pretty much just sealed the whole game for them. Yes, they had the snowball. Boy, did he hit it home.
And so impressive as C9 to kind of win the way they've always won back home in the NALCS, to do it on the world stage. Yes, they had an impressive play, but EDG is a fearsome opponent, and today they managed to take them down in a very clean game.
And even though everyone in the group has beaten EDG, C9 was the first one to beat them in the early game, which is definitely where C9's strengths have lied so far here at Worlds. They're continuing to play their style as well. The early Syndra pick, first rotation, making sure it can't go down to phase 2